Hey, Kennedy Elementary, nice to meet you. Hi, Jeff. My name is Carter Evans, and I am talking to you guys from Venice Beach, California, from my apartment. I was in Standing Rock a little bit over a week ago, and I went to college with your teacher. So thank you for your questions and your curiosity on this issue. So this is North Dakota, and these are different North Dakota counties. This is Bismarck, and then this is the Missouri River, and this is the Sioux Territory that was designated the Sioux Territory in the Laramie Treaty of the 1800s, and then this is the Standing Rock Reservation down here, and then right here is the Oceti-Sakowin camp and the other camps. This line is where the pipeline was originally supposed to go. Until the people of Bismarck, a predominantly white city, said they didn't want the pipeline going near their city because it was irresponsible and dangerous. And so then the pipeline moved down, entering into Sioux Territory. This is a photo of one section of the camp, and so that lots of teepees, RVs, tents. There are little roads that go through, and so it's crowded. When I was there, there were between 5,000 to 7,000 people. However, a friend of mine is there now and sent me another photo, and it seems like there are a lot more. I don't know, but I'm guessing closer to 10,000 right now. I was very welcomed when I arrived, and I was scared to go. I've never camped before. I've never done any kind of camping, and I went alone. I didn't know anyone, so I was really scared, but mostly I was scared about the cold and just trying to survive, and I knew it would be brutal and uncomfortable. But then the week before I went, I got a lot of emails and articles from people, just things that they had heard about how the camp was unsafe and things were getting stolen, and so I went in a little bit scared, and then I got in, and then I drove around and found a place to camp, and people came up and introduced themselves to me, and it was very welcoming. There are 300 different indigenous tribes from across the Americas and all of the world, as well as other big groups from different states and cities that are there. Everyone was there for this cause because to protect the water. And with that in mind, and so even though I was alone, I didn't feel scared when I was there because I just felt like I was a part of this community, and I felt very held and protected in this space and in the community, while also feeling alone on my own. It's kind of there are both things going on there at the same time, but so there was this need for everyone to help out in building and making shelter and preparing for the winter. So a lot of the days I was just doing construction, putting in floors, building teepees, building yurts, building shelters. And so that's kind of what I did most of the time. It's not like there's one person leading it. It's really more of all these different communities learning how to work together to make this camp safe for everyone for the winter. They call themselves water protectors, not protesters. They view themselves as protecting the waters. And so we didn't go out on protests, but we went out on things called direct actions or direct action activities. And so they were ones going on each day. We didn't know about them because the police and the security have infiltrated the camps. There are spies in the camp, as well as drone, helicopter, and like aerial surveillance and technological surveillance within your phones. So the actions, there was a man with a loudspeaker at the center of camp at the Sacred Fire, and he would kind of wake everyone up in the morning and say, around 8 o'clock, he would say, anyone wanting to go on an action, meet at the south gate, and everyone would meet there with either their cars or on their own, and you would gather, and you would be they would let you know a little bit about the kind of action that you were doing that day, and then you would get in a car and all caravan out to different places around the state, usually places that like sites and companies where they have who were invested in the pipeline. So you would go, and then there would be a series of prayers and songs that would happen while you were out on one of those actions. And that usually lasted several hours. It depends on how far away you were going. If you were right up to the front lines near camp, then you didn't have far to go. But I went close to Bismarck one day, so you'd leave at 8, come back at 4 in the afternoon. And to answer your question, how's the North Dakota Pipeline government responding? They're responding with force and intimidation, and gathering more forces. So the governor has called in the National Guard. There were police that I saw from several different counties all around the state, from different cities around the state. There were police from the state police as well as the sheriff's department, and there were police from other states, from Minnesota, Wisconsin, South Dakota, who had all sent forces there. And they are militarizing their police forces. So they are dressed up in the most intense military gear you've ever really encountered, completely shielded with bulletproof everything, masks, gas masks. I'm sure maybe some of you have seen pictures, but so they're responding with an intense force and using barbaric techniques and weapons and harming people. There have never been any riots there. The news isn't completely accurate and not comprehensive. Sorry, just thinking about it and remembering it's very strange when you live in a normal day in America and you think of the police as being just people who are looking out for you, and then going to a place where they are actively hostile and aggressive in front of you, and you have no weapons and you are in prayer. It's a difficult thing to wrap your head around, and it makes you why are a lot of people protesting not of Indian descent? I think it's because they believe that this is wrong, and when something's wrong, you stand up and you say it. And especially the Native Americans in our country, their voices are overlooked, and they have been overlooked for so many years, over and over again. And so I think a lot of people are going to stand with them in support, to say that I've got your back, kind of like how you would stick up for a friend. And I went because I think it's really irresponsible for the government to knowingly build something that will contaminate the drinking water of. It's estimated that 17,000 people use the drinking water of this area of the river. So we've seen what happens in states where people don't have access to clean water. The militarization of the police, that in and of itself is so wrong, and the way that they're harming the people, and not that much news is covering it. Oh, do I believe it will succeed? Well, I really want to believe that it will. I hope it does, for the sake of the planet. I know that if as many people went to the pipeline that went to see the final game of the Chicago Cubs, then people would care, and then people would probably take action. So that's something to think about. And go Red Sox. But was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it. I went, as I said, because I'm spiritually and very connected to the land. And I went because I felt like the government was doing something wrong. And also I went because I could. And people, they need us. And just like so many things and experiences in life, as you'll find out, it's never just worth it for one reason. I made wonderful friends, and I learned a lot about different tribes. I learned a lot about about different parts of the country, about the environment, about indigenous people, and about the issue of oil in the country. And I learned a lot about myself, and I was able to do something that scared me a little bit, but do it because it felt like it was the right thing to do, and not because it's right because my parents or anybody else told me it was right. It felt right in my heart. And I think whenever you're doing something for those reasons, you never regret it, and it's always worth it. Hopefully I've answered everything, and if I haven't, you can write me and I'll write you back answers. However I can be of help. But I urge you to ask your parents to call the president and ask him to step in and protect the people, protect this Standing Rock tribe, as well as all of the people who are at Standing Rock right now. So thank you so much, and have a great day.